some attacking rounds. This first half on Skyscraper is going to be very telling if BDS can take this map away from Loud. But I mean, right now, if we were to have a kind of prediction, I'm very much backing in Loud to get the job done. And they're backing themselves in as well with the bullets they've reloaded.
Yeah, just due to the nature of the starting sides and it being Skyscraper, I don't think a 7-2, 7-3 is really that far from reality here for Loud. Unless BDS play even better maybe than they did day one, then I don't see that being the case. Again, the added pressure onto Loud here in terms of this being an elimination match for them. If they are to find resistance, they could potentially capitulate, but I think at this point in time they're a team that can very much find confidence in previous results. At these international events now where they've had limited experience, they've shown promise. So we'll see what they can show us today. Kaid and Valk off the board for defense. Double shield, Monty Blitz for attack.
I mean, so far we've seen obviously quite enough of the ban system. The thing that's now starting to really catch my eye is I actually feel like it's affecting attackers a lot more than defenders. I feel like there's so many good defensive operators that you can cover a Valk, you can cover a Kaid. You can't really cover the loss of shields, for example, outside of a Blackbeard if you want to employ that. You can't really cover as much a Capitao Ying ban as well in terms of helping facilitate those attacking fights in towards a site. I mean, in a game as well, and I'm just kind of spitballing here before we get into the game, in a game that's already kind of been favoring defense over the last couple of years, is that going to even make it more difficult for attack?
Yeah, I think there were theories thrown that the game could circle back to being more defender-sided again. I think it's still early days in making that assumption as of right now. In fact, I'm actually quite intrigued to have a look at what the overall numbers are suggesting. So at the moment, it's 43% to attack and 57% to defense. I'll bring up Boston in a moment.
I mean, that's not a large
compare,
change, I don't think. I would imagine it's always kind of been around that sort of 40-60 split. We begin, by the way, here on Skyscraper, where you kind of get those numbers from Boston as a comparison point with the old ban system. Robbie on the glass, by the way, in this opening round, and I kind of like the lineup for BDS. They've certainly got the firepower, the entry power as well off of Virtue on the Ying. You only have, you got 4 smokes for the Glads to play off. And again, the entries have been a strength for BDS. Freck with an early flash towards Black Stairs. Pasetto will go and keep himself defended, but Lasmo coming right in behind. And by the way, that's P4 on an entry into Karaoke, and he will die. Can't get the plant down. Kit's in a bit of a bad spot. Watched by Robbie, who did find a kill on the glass. So a frantic start to begin in the opening round with BDS slightly ahead. 4v3, make that 2. And Robbie with 2 opening kills. He needs that for his own confidence and for BDS's confidence on these attacking rounds. Perez does get the glass eventually. Robbie does fall. STK and Perez very much on site. Geisha, though, still being held by Perez. So decent map control. Virtue, well, little side swipe out on the rappel, and he does get the head of STK. Leaves Perez by himself and Geisha. That's full site control now for BDS. Guard break, nicely done onto Lasmo. Virtue and Freck should still be able to win this from here. They've got Karaoke control. Freck can watch from the hallway. As soon as Perez makes his move, Freck should be the one to be able to stop this, and the plant will be down successfully through Virtue.
Now needs to try and break the cross. Try and find the first, and then the pre-fire onto Virtue. Although could now find the first. Virtue exposed. One shot lands, but it's not enough to net the kill. Perez now still trying to fight forward.
Virtue's a little bit stuck, but luckily Freck always had the hallway being watched, so Virtue did not have to move. Good communication between the two. Well played from Virtue, good discipline. You always feel a little bit nervous when you're in that position. You're kind of stuck, you don't want to move, you don't want to make it a 1 versus 1, and that's an early attacking round for BDS on a map like Skyscraper. Good start, and it's the way that they did it as well. Backed in their pace, backed in the fact that they wanted to go quick. They felt like they had a good pinch towards Black Stairs, of which they did, dealt with Pasetto very nicely, and they got the Amaru grappling hook in towards Karaoke, died to the Nitrocell. Didn't matter, they still had reinforcement, so really good start for BDS. And Loud's probably not going to be too happy with the way that that round played out.
So circling back to the attack defense win rate discussion. So far at Reload again, it's been a 43-57 split in favor of defense. Boston SI was a 45-55 split.
Okay.
So it's marginal at best at the moment. Yeah. Of course, we need to see a lot more data from Reload and best of threes, etc.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's a new system that we're only just seeing now, and teams
It also hasn't been min-maxed yet.
Yeah, and teams will kind of figure things out, especially with the defensive bans on certain sites, etc. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be... and the other thing as well, like when you're banning the attacking operators, a lot of the times it kind of flows across all sites. With defensive operators, sometimes it affects certain sites more than others, and so that's going to be something to consider.
Certain maps, certain sites,
Yeah.
and depending on the map frequency, play rate, it's going to change.
P4 with the Riora. We've seen it a couple of times so far reload, but to little effect. I wonder if we can get those gates to aid for BDS on their attack in the second round.
Running LMG as well, so... See how impactful that ends up eventuating to be. Virtue on the Amaru as well. So we could see BDS go for a play from down below, and that's where Virtue is currently stationed. Likely to try and bust up the hatch in towards A. So that means there'll be pressure on those close by to deny that particular set play. Basetto is close by, behind the desk. Kiba's in play, and he was droned out. So now BDS will be looking to distract and disrupt and displace this position for their play to work. But they've definitely cooked something up here.
Loud ready for it though. Live playing the close angle. And this is where the gates can have their impact, at least even just to enable the entry positions here for BDS, even if it's temporary. Virtue through the hatch on the Amaru, looking to get the plant down inside of Office, and so far uncontested until the Nitro Cell, and so far rather similar to the opening round of Tia and Karaoke. Picked up by Lasmo. He too, though, also taken off it by the Nitro Cell, but he did able to stay alive a little longer until flushed out by Perez, and so far this has been defended very nicely from Loud. A set play from BDS that, for all consideration, wasn't bad, but Loud have just been there to respond.
Yeah, really good denial, but Perez eventually dealt with. That Nitro from Terrace did a good job initially and hit a shot onto the second with the pressure down below from STK. It makes things a little bit awkward for BDS. You go deep. Freck drops the diffuser.
Yeah, and suddenly Robbie, who has started incredibly well in this match with 4 kills, needs to get 2 more. Diffuser recovered, but no smokes remaining. Deals with the shell of the Scopos, so not as much vision, and that should have been a kill. That was your opportunity to make it a 1v3, and the opportunity was not taken, but it was taken by Dafo, and Loud will respond, and that was a very good defensive round from Loud.
Yeah, Perez the MVP of that round. That was really the only blind spot that BDS had for that push. They had Samurai covered, the breach was pressured, Virtue had free clearance to get in towards the site, but preventing that plant denial from coming out, considering their positions, was very, very challenging. So he lobbed that Nitro at range. There was already line of sight in the wall, or he created it in the moment. We couldn't quite tell from what we were seeing, but Nitro land, diffuser on the ground, rotation from STK down below, made things very awkward for BDS. I mean, despite that, BDS still then found themselves with the man advantage, but not really the safe path to plant. Fret got put on an island, and then the 1v2 was unsuccessful. 2 rounds, 2 set plays as well from BDS. First one, Tier Room Karaoke. The second one on Office and Exhibition. We actually go back to Tier Room Karaoke because, of course, Loud did lose it in the opening round, so it's still available in the site selection. Slight change up for BDS, though, not just with the attacker repick that's happening at the moment, but of course from the original lineup that they brought in that first round. The Blackbeard, the Glaz.
5 seconds remaining.
This time it looks like a more conventional hit for BDS. Robbie on the Deimos.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
And probably a world of confidence for Robbie to start this well.
Then you're a better soldier than I thought.
There's always pressure when you kind of formulate a new team, new roster. You know, who performs well, who performs poor at the beginning is then more likely to probably maybe get replaced as you kind of consider how things are gelling. Robbie doing well here. Currently a 200 EPS to begin.
He's always been a fun player to watch.
Well, I think his strength has always just been his confidence on his entries, and he's got the skill to do it. And he's got a 2-0 start in terms of entries here on Skyscraper after only finding 2 out of 8 attempts prior to today. That's a very early logic bomb, by the way, by Virtue. And Freck will be the one to go down to the hands of Dafo, who has also started very well for a player that is currently 5th in the EPS rankings coming into this match. And we're looking to pump those numbers up once again. Contact here. Robbie unable to land.
Well, it's also back-to-back untraded deaths for Frack, so There's a disconnect at the moment from BDS. Last one was late round, this one early. Clearly trying to get value off the back of that logic bomb, but no one plays follow-up. Also weakens now the flank watch for BDS with the Nomad in the grave. So not an ideal
There's
start.
no map control either right now in this round.
And you're fighting from the back foot.
And you're fighting from the back foot. You're down a player. You haven't got map control. You've got no pressure towards the directive site for Tier and Karaoke. And then you've only just kind of got Robbie making his way over now from the eastern side of the map.
It means that the win rate now for this round is absolutely plummeted. Right now, it's 25% or less.
You're going to have to hit some really good shots. Robbie on the flank does get rid of Daffo. He's the one that really became their win condition. He's got Lasmo for cover as well, so they double up together. And with the kill onto Daffo, that's a big figure off the board for Loud. Still time. There goes the second logic bomb, but it only affects 2 targets currently on Passetto and the STK. Robbie slowly making his way through makeup, and the brute forcing from BDS is working out. Talk about just walk into the site and kill your opponents. Sometimes it does work out. Passetto caught in the hallway. It leaves STK very low inside of T-Room, and it looks like BDS are going to take the primary site once again here on the attack. And it all really opened up because of Robbie. Robbie, make that 8-2 to begin in the opening 3 rounds. He's back, and look at what it means. That's Robbie's map, bro. Skyscraper. Well, it is right now. He's making it. His map, out of 100 players at this tournament, coming into today, Robbie was the 84th rated player. That is a very low margin. 17-24, -7 KD, 2-6 entry, -4 entry. While he's 8-2 here and 2-0 on the entries. He is off to a hot start against Loud.
Bandit Ying off the board. Yeah, perhaps I should have plugged that into my calculator when I came up with the 25% number. Again, losing an early pick without map control on Skyscraper is often pretty devastating, but they're able to brute force that. Deimos didn't even really need to come into play for information. Instead, they worked terrace across, got in towards Guige, caught Loud off guard. The crossover towards Throne was ineffective. Those in T didn't really offer enough support, and with that it broke down. Loud timeout. Sensing a bit of pressure now in this matchup. This is an elimination match for Loud. And they are currently trailing on Skyscraper defense. Rough start, but an opportunity with the new bans in play and the tactical timeout to reset and prepare for the next 3 of the half.
So Bandit banned out, and the Ying as well. And all smiles for Robbie now, and no wonder. Having easily his best game at this tournament so far.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
8-2. And yeah, he was the linchpin. He was the one that needed to activate for BDS in that round. They got stalled out early on. They were very late to rotate over towards the site. Loud had plenty of utility. I think at one point they still had 3 Nitrocells in the pocket. Geisha wasn't really opened up, but Robbie's push over from the eastern side through Terrace finds a good pick, then into makeup, finds another pick. And sets the tone early for BDS. Now, they've only wagered the 1 bullet.
Yeah.
So you might wonder if that's like the right play or the wrong play. It's hard to really say until tomorrow. The good news is for BDS, if they lose this, they only go to 5. If they win this, they only go to 7. It just means that they're banking on being in a position.
Well, they'll go to 8 because it'll be an
limb. Yeah, 8. They're banking on being in a position where tomorrow they can actually be a low enough seed that they get to choose their opponent and then play their extended mag on top of it. And hope that that is enough as Perez just gets aggressive, foot on the throttle, and gets rid of Virtue. Or almost gets rid of Virtue.
It'll be a res.
And that should be, yeah, Virtue should get back up. And the significance of that is he's playing the Dockerby, so you'll get those logic bombs for the round. Perez will be disappointed he couldn't finish off his great work. The spawn peak was successful, but doesn't net the kill.
Yeah, Virtue then for the remainder of the round will be on drone duty. Ensure that those logic bombs are allowed to replenish and that he can get value from that in the mid to late round. Daffo, though, will find Freck, who will once again die early on in the piece and once again be untraded. So for Freck, it's been a disaster start, but fortunately for him, Robbie is firing and the rest of the team in support. And so in some respects, this feels very similar to the previous round, a 4v5, no map control.
Well, unfortunately, there's not that much really that the Twitch was needed for. 1 BPC, proxy alarm. There's not a lot that you're really going to get in terms of value from the shock drones.
Well, it's just the gun factor.
The gun factor,
One
yeah.
less body to throw at the defense.
And Virtue's also very low. So again, for BDS, playing on the back foot in this 4th round. Logic Bomb does ring out from Virtue. The benefit of being able to get picked up after that spawn pick from Perez.
Who is currently being deathmarked by Robbie.
Well, this is where BDS can't go into their shells and just say, Robbie, walk in, kill them. And trust me, that can work. We just saw it in the previous round. And when Robbie's hot, he's very difficult to stop. But you can't just give up this full map control. Slowly now, Lasmo and Virtue making their way into the building. Got to clear top floor, though, for Kitchen Barbecue. You cannot go horizontal here. Virtue making his way up behind Lasmo as they look to clear said top floor.
Well, Robbie's dead. And with that, BDS's hopes of winning this round likely down the drain as well. Good catch from Loud, who have played rather aggressive on this defensive round, and in doing so, will equalize.
Well, I mean, a lot of it comes back to 2 things. Virtue gets spawn peaked very low. You've got to then offset any kind of start that you want to make in the round. This should be a kill for Perez. And then Freck dying without a trade and being 1-3, struggling a little bit to begin with. Same with P4. Right now, it's like if Robbie doesn't make things happen, BDS aren't going to make things happen. Flawless from Loud. Not much that they did wrong. Pretty much played that quite standard. Top floor hold for the tertiary site. A little bit of pressure across. Good spawn peak to begin. A bit active on the defense coming out of the tactical timeout. That's the response that you want if you're Loud. 2-2 scoreline. Feels like Daffo versus Robbie right now. Whoever can get more on top in this game is going to benefit for their team.
Could certainly be the case. Karaoke T to follow here, so 2nd floor we go. Important to note as well, that being the tertiary site sets up Loud with a bit of a runway for the conclusion of this half with the primary sites unlocked.
Well, they can't win tier and karaoke apparently. That's the only concern.
Yeah.
Bomb located by attack.
They're going to try it again though here in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Which I'm a little bit surprised. I would have thought they maybe would have gone office and exhibition. It is available.
3rd attempt. I thought it was only the 2nd in the back of my mind.
No,
but
3rd attempt.
Absolutely correct.
So a little bit of concern though if you are BDS, because you got the first 2 opening kills through Robbie, then the next 2 opening kills have gone the way of Daffo, and as you mentioned before, both of them onto Freck.
5 seconds remaining.
And no opening kill in this match has been traded so far, and all 3 out of the 4 opening kills have actually been with 2+ minutes on the clock. So we've been seeing early engagements from both of these 2 teams, looking to make contact, looking to, you know, kind of feel each other out. That's the nature of Skyscraper. You're defending window, you're defending entry positions. It's pretty normal to see an early opening kill and then a bit of a fallback, peel back defense, get back to site. Sends in play for P4.
Yeah, sense Blackbeard in play, so expect backstairs to be the point of interest for the attack.
And remember, of course, the Warden can no longer see through the shield screens.
Yeah. Okay, funny. I had to look back. I literally pretty much haven't casted since that change. That's how long ago it was. Back in November 24.
How did Loud play this differently? Because the onus is on them this round, and it's Live that gets aggressive. P4 will not get any shield screens down from the ROU.
And that's a massive part of the puzzle here. If BDS were to eventually push it backstairs, I mean, based on current positioning, that may not have been the plan anyway, but still, that's an important tool lost and is only going to tank the attacking win rate for Sense even further at this event.
Aggressive play from Live works out, and that makes it 3 opening kills in a row now for Loud on the defense. Seems like that early tactical timeout may be paying dividends.
I mean, you have to. In this kind of circumstance on
It's
this
do or
map,
die.
you cannot allow BDS to get more than 2 attacking rounds, otherwise you're in a really awkward position. With your spot at the tournament on the line.
Robbie's on the move though. Oh no, that's not a good nade. The second one does at least get some distance on it. Little shaky here from Robbie. They feel like they've got a pinch. Freck has to get involved, but he cannot. He's actually blocked out by this gas canister, courtesy of Passetto, who has 1 remaining. And at this point now for Loud, you've got a minute left on the clock, 5v4. You very much can now play sight, keep gauge to control. You've got nitro cells. This should be difficult for BDS. Even more so with Freck losing his life. Pressure onto Lasmo on the Blackbeard. Pulled the gun up, got the headshot. Virtue low. Shield up again for Lasmo, but expected maybe a swing from Black Stairs. With Robbie's death, this should and will be a loud round win. Unless Virtue goes absolutely nuts. 1 of 4, 3 to go, but has about 3 HP. And for Loud, you've just got to give him the respect and kind of hold your positions. No need to go swinging or peeking, and in the end, Live was just holding the angle. So, Loud will take the lead for the first time here on Skyscraper.
Yeah, BDS looking to push to backstairs as kind of anticipated there in the round, but without the sends, it made it tricky. Freck, again, I feel like he's been put under a bit of a microscope in this matchup, but again, finding it challenging to head that entry. I think he still had flashes in pocket as well there, caught up close with shotgun. At least that time around he was traded, but even then, with the ground taken by the Blackbeard, without follow-up utility and the additional player to trade, it made it really difficult then to formulate much of it and execute in the end. So, clean from Loud. We'll actually go over towards bedroom bathroom for the final round of the half. So we're going to see all 4 played out. Loud not backing themselves to win exhibition office again.
Well, I pose to you now as we're in the final round of the half. Is 2 attacking rounds enough?
Needles in position.
Yeah. 100%.
Got to remember that for
Attack.
BDS,
We've seen 1 be enough on this map. 2,
BDS
I think, is great.
11th at the tournament for defensive win rate. Loud first. So that can sort of overcome the map specific a little bit.
5 seconds
I mean,
left
there is that
before
caveat,
insertion.
right, that BDS's attack and win rate has not been amazing at this event, but
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
I mean, with that said, I think 2 is a good result for them.
So far, 208, 206, 216, 214 opening deaths. The other one being 139. So again, expecting an early confrontation between these two teams to close out this half. Just not enough. You've got to understand that it can't just be Robbie. Freck and P4 have got 1 kill between them. Lasmo and Virtue are kind of playing different roles, and probably Lasmo is the one that you want to be able to get going a little bit. 6 and 1 on the entry, but he hasn't really been able to get into engagements for these opening kills.
Drone up and running.
Bedroom and bathroom to close out the half. Of course, Loud will play above, defending towards office and exhibition, and Lasmo went for an entry this time, but he lost out to Perez, and he took Freck as well with him. Lovely double kill from Perez, and he's having a significant game. 10 and 3, just quietly putting together a very good performance, and that puts, once again, BDS on the back foot, 4 rounds running.
Perfect read. Stalls breach with the Zodo. Immediately responds to the soft exterior wall being opened. Lays down fire, finds 2. With that, it's pretty much round over.
Yellow ping intel must get the next kill, and probably quickly. Good kill from P4. Now, had the yellow ping information onto Perez. Plays it nicely. Becomes a 3v4 now with a little bit of time still remaining. Robbie still in the serve, and Virtue still with 1 B canister for the Quad Hive launcher. They spot out Daffo over towards Shrine. Robbie just trying to get himself into some kind of angle to really watch this cross. Hopes to maybe force him out with the frag grenade, but that does not do so. And STK is there for cover.
Loud can just hold position at this point in time. BDS can commit somebody to hold the rotation back. In
2
the meantime,
drones left as well. I mean, Loud have actually managed the drone economy of BDS very well.
yeah. There's realistically only 2 players that can get to work on site. Effectively 2v2 on the objective, but tough to go in blind.
They got the first and only kill off of yellow ping intel. I don't know how much more information you're actually going to get now. They still haven't cleared out this shrine position either.
Yeah, they're just going to hold cross, but it leads to this weird standoff where BDS eventually need to make their
20
move.
seconds, guys. They give up map control to now try and hit site directly. Straight into a goo mine for P4. They lose Virtue. They're running out of time. They're having to just basically go for a Hail Mary. And it leaves Robbie by himself with no time remaining to find the remaining kills or get that kit down onto the floor. And so therefore, it will be Loud taking a 4-2 lead going into the second half.
Big from Loud. Consolidate their position. Perfectly timed tactical timeout, and then the response from the team snappy. BDS got out of the gates with a good start. It was a 2-1 lead at the conclusion of that karaoke round back on the third round. And Loud, again, as mentioned, tactical timeout into that barbecue defense and really just rolled forward from there.
I mean, that round itself, it's just, you know, double kill on the entry there for Perez to deny and then just stall out BDS. And then there's 20 seconds left. No map control. Just send it in. Go for that Hail Mary, which how often does that realistically work? But, asterisk, that was the first half. Now we got a second half coming up. BDS go into defense. And a 4-2 half, as you said, I think it's very normal to see that on a map like Skyscraper. But Loud, coming into this game, I would have anticipated to have a better attack than, say, BDS, and puts them very much in a good position. Not only do I think they can obviously get the 2 attacks to at least force OT, but I genuinely think they could get to the 7.
So, once again, double shield, Monty Blitz. We saw that in the first round of bans back in the previous half. Kaid and Bandits. So, electricity dealt with. Slight variation with the Volk exchanged out this time around. So that may free up a bit of info gathering for defense.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Always interesting to try and strike a balance for the defensive bands here on Sky. Loud clearly prioritizing opening those external breaches with a little more comfort, a little less reliant on EMPs. And to ultimately see how much of an impact that ends up having. And gaining that ever important map control. Interesting lineup though to kick off things. Blackbeard, the only shield left standing outside of Fuse shield in play. I don't know if Daffo's actually going to play the shield himself as well. May well be the case. It's not like this is a site where it's particularly prevalent, the utility. In fact, we see a switch off both, so don't know why I even mentioned it in the end, but primary hard breach in play. Interestingly, the only hard breach available. No secondaries for Loud.
Yeah,
actually, no,
I mean,
Live will probably be running. Oh no, he's not running secondaries, my bad.
No,
so yeah, the only hard breach.
To be fair, it's Team Room Karaoke, so provided you get Geisha opened up, you probably don't need it as much elsewhere.
Could make the office clear a bit more challenging, and they are stacking at BDS.
Yeah, but I mean, again, VIP, you're not going to have to deal with a Bandit or Kaid. This should be pretty much free for the Thermite.
I mean, maybe they sell the softball. They get singled freely, again with no electricity. Nothing you can do to deny that as defense.
There's really just no threat on the Thermite in opening up any of these walls unless someone goes for a run out. And Live is somewhat watching. Tails off though. So VIP opened up, Peseta makes his way over to makeup, and that's basically job done. And that's why you only really need the one hard breacher here.
Yeah, that wall muted, but impact temp from Daffo able to deal with that.
Ooh. So far, Robbie has been good in his own entry departments.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
You can't re-peek it now.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to try and, yeah, cross. Yep, nicely done.
Yeah, that's well played. Got bullied off the angle, but then didn't overcommit.
Yeah, he lost that, but keeps his life intact, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade between STK and Freck. We'll give Freck the...
Not self-induced, by the way. Yeah, that is a bug.
It is a bug. It's just a 1-for-1 trade. But we'll give him the opening kill. I think he needs it right now.
Yeah, he's had a rough one.
Just over a minute remaining, 4v4. Loud just circling outside of the map, not really looking to go for that sweep across. They've got makeup opened. They did end up opening VIP, but haven't really utilized that position on the map. And just now, Perez towards Shrine. Making his way in through the window. Could look to put pressure on the mezzanine. Still a couple of drones remaining as well. Robbie holding towards Drum.
Well, Diffuse postured over towards Geish, so they need to try and clear Lasmo as quickly as possible, but proving to be a challenge.
And Virtue's just sitting comfortably over towards Blackstairs, no one close by, so he's still got 2 gas babes. He can also look to swing hallway later on if Loud don't send members over there. Lasmo pops the glasses, expecting that push to come through, but talk about coming through. Daffo makes his way in, not where BDS expected from. Fortunately, Virtue gets on the move and does get the trade and starts to become a bit of a mess here on towards the site. They lose Robbie. He held a good position. Perez with a double. He is having a huge game right now. Massive impact in that round from Perez. Loud left it to the last seconds of that round, but they kicked the second half off with a superb attacking round win.
I'm pretty sure that was the other stream. That those comments sounded a little bit too too British for this one. Who is on the other stream, by the way? Do you know?
That's a good question. Should be Cloud9 G2.
I was gonna say it sounded like Doki. Yeah, really good work from Daffo in that prior round in kicking things off with the karaoke swing. I was actually having a look across at our overhead, and some of the util players went in towards Geisha, especially the displaced Lasmo, really didn't land. There was a frag grenade that I think it went a little bit too deep, but that missed the mark, and it forced the play through karaoke to unlock that position, and it was successful. BDS then frantically tried to reposition in a bit more advanced positions, but Perez with some really nice clears, a player that's been super switched on in this matchup. 13 picks thus far. Able to cash in the early pressure from others on his team. So good signs in the opening round for Loud. Over to Kitchen BBQ for round 8.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, concerns now, though, if you're BDS. You had a 2-1 lead. Since then, you've given up 4 rounds in a row, and you're losing a lot of the entry battles, too, which has been kind of your one wood. It's been your main strength so far at the tournament. Of course, your opponent is better at it than you, though.
I mean, it's officially for 3 opening kills in a row into the 1 in that last round, but considering that was a immediate trade, it's almost 4 the way of Loud, or 3.5. And many of those landing within the first minute as well.
So if Loud win this, they will go to 22 bullets, and they will go to the main stage.
Yep.
That will be top 4, so they will qualify tonight.
BDS, though, certainly with a chance tomorrow if they play well. Extended mag available.
Yeah. I mean, naturally, Loud just have more on the line here, because if they did end up losing this, well, then they would be eliminated from the tournament. But
that's the nature of this format. You can
they've been in
win it all,
control.
and you can lose it all in one game.
Perez has just been absolutely nuts in this. +9 on the KD. He's 186 EPS in this match.
What was his rating heading into the day? Because I feel like he wasn't on my radar. Oh, he was 12th, so 118 EPS.
Yep. Perez and Daffo have definitely been the best 2 players for Loud at the tournament so far, and actually that has continued in this match. 20 kills between them. Which, I mean, that's something that you could look to if there's a match in which Perez and or Daffo don't perform. Loud are going to lose a lot of their firepower, but I mean, you could say that for pretty much most teams, right? Logic Bomb called out by SDK. And on the move now is Live. SDK does go down to Frag. That's a good battle, and that's going to be an easy kill. 4 Live onto Robbie, who just wasn't ready for it. And Robbie, who started 8-2, is now 8-6.
Oh, with Damos still up now, it's going to be very difficult.
And when he
for
was
BDS.
8-2, we heard BDS say, this is Robbie's map. Well, right now, it's turning out to be Loud's map as they go 4-1 up in the 8th round, and they will go 6-2 up. That 3rd round, when BDS went 2-1 up, feels like a lifetime ago now. Because this team in green is getting very noisy, very loud here in Brazil, and they are 1 round away from securing a spot at the main stage.
I can't believe how hard I threw my predictions for this event. At the very last moment before I locked them in, I took Loud out and put G2 in. That might be one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life.
Tactical timeout from BDS. But at this point, I don't know if there's much that could save them.
They look a little bit dejected at the moment. I mean, again, sometimes it's difficult to determine if it's focus or dejection, but I don't know. I think the way that they're struggling to deal with Loud at the moment, it's probably the latter.
Robbie was 8-2 after that 3rd round, and since then, not a single kill.
Jeez.
Now 8-6.
Yeah, that's rough. You need at least 1,
And
preferably
by the
2
way,
for this map.
that's not like, I'm not shaming Robbie by any means, but I said it at the time, like, if Robbie's not the one that's fragging, who's going to stand up for BDS?
You need firepower.
If his firepower has cooled off a little bit, and that's fine, he started super hot, no one else, though, has got going. I mean, Lasmo was actually the one that was the top-rated player coming into today for BDS. Where's he been? Virtue's playing his role. I don't think, you're not expecting Virtue to go in and be your entry fragger and be your top player. So he's been playing his role on the support. Lasmo 3-8, P4 3-7, Freck 3-7. So it's very much that, that team performance right now from BDS that's letting them down. Robbie gave them a head start, but no one else could kind of follow.
Well, it certainly feels like a matter of when and not if Loud are able to win this match, and with that 22 bullets.
And this is going to be their strength going into main stage as well. I mean, this is the best attacking team of the tournament so far, and for them to come into this second half and straight off the rip go and find 2 attacking rounds on a map like Skyscraper, doing it so convincingly and intriguingly enough in both cases where they didn't find the opening kill, because Freck got actually both opening kills. Actually onto SDK as well.
Loud are going to thrive in the live environment. Brazilian crowd.
Absolutely.
If they're versing a non-Brazilian team as well, it's going to be a very hostile environment. And if Loud continue their attacking success, imagine being on a defender-sided map and finding it difficult to get defensive rounds, the crowd against you, pressure mounting. It's not going to be a very pleasant experience for whoever's on the receiving end of that, regardless of how good that team may be. So there's a lot to get excited about if you're a Loud fan. Could be CAG.
Do BDS have the wherewithal to bring this one back? And this is also the mental aspect. You've only got the 1 bullet on the line, so for BDS, you only go down to 5. You can play tomorrow, play your extended mag, and then look to, rocket up the standings to make main stage. Oh, how does Dafo not win that one? Freck, very good headshot. I mean, credit to Freck, because he was on the receiving end of a lot of these entries in the first half. He's turned that around, actually, with 3 in a row to begin the second half. But unfortunately, his team has not been able to capitalize on those.
Yeah, wins a clean duel there in through drum.
It actually now means that throughout this entire match, BDS have been better at getting these opening kills than Loud, but they're 2-6 down, 5-4.
Probably a reflection of how green the team is late round.
Well, that's probably also
challenging.
a good indication, because Perez does not give any care about the opening kill or death scenario. He'll happily just find the kills later in the round when they're more impactful. He goes to 15. He has dropped 15 here against BDS and make that 16, as Robbie really needed to win that battle. Loud are moments away from surely securing their spot in the main stage. 22 bullets. I don't imagine there's any world in which they could get displaced out of the top 4 with that amount. 3v3 though, into the final minute.
Sato taking a look at damage, but survives. Double stack. A VIP clearance from P4 and Lasmo. P4 very low, but that enables Lasmo to go for the swing. Trade to come through, though, from Basetto, who falls as well.
Down to SDK, and P4's very low.
Winnable.
Nope, apparently not. P4 able to hit the headshot. Ends up actually making a very solid swing peak, and BDS stay alive for a little longer.
Still a 3-round deficit. So BDS need to keep plugging away. Additional bans to come through. I am presuming, especially with the prevalence of the Blackbeard, that BDS are going to triple down here on shields. Blackbeard just making the 1 appearance, but Basetto using it pretty nicely in the prior round for a bit of space. Could be the Grim. Played every round. Oh, actually, and there it is in the end. So Grim played every single round by Dafo. Another impactful operator. And so dealt with. Mirror in response, we saw just on the 1 occasion for that exhibition defense from BDS. And so perhaps a little bit more site-specific to counteract that hold.
I mean, have we seen the mirror yet, though?
Yeah, just in that last round.
Just once.
As many bombs as they can.
Probably site-specific for exhibition.
I mean, obviously Loud have got a couple of rounds to play with. Whereas
Well, if you can weaken the exhibition hold, that's going to be what BDS most likely need to win out to push OT. So, I mean, maybe we're over-engineering it a little bit, but it could be a world in which they're just targeting that hold a little bit more. If they find the next few rounds a challenge, BDS elect to go back there for the 5-6 round, then they will have to shake up their hold.
So 3 rounds in a row needed here for BDS if they can force this one to overtime.
5 seconds left.
16 and 5 for Perez, 181 EPS. Absolutely dominating. Can BDS find a way to shut him down? Dafo now finds himself on the Deimos. He's been pretty much just as instrumental in this match so far. 127 EPS with 8-4. Just a bit hard for him to find the kills because Perez is the one that's claiming them all. Robbie, though, in a little slump now. Started 8-2, now 8-7. Others have started to slowly catch up for BDS, but no one's really hammering it home. They're all 4 and 5 kills apiece still. Big extension for BDS though in this round here in Karaoke, and there's a lot of presence and pressure over towards Office and Exhibition. Lasmo towards Drum, so it's a massive extension.
I was watching Robbie there in the overhead. He's over-peaking. Well, not over-peaking, but aggressively peaking exterior at the moment. He's still stationed close by.
I mean, this is better though for BDS. I wrote down in my notes on the 7th round, no aggression for BDS. Well, certainly getting all of the aggression now. Robbie though, well, he's fortunate to be alive, but he's very unfortunate to not have found a sliver of a pixel to get the opening kill there for BDS, and he still remains on 8. And it's Freck that does get eliminated. Freck, once again, in yet another opening engagement. He has been in 6 now, and he goes 3-3 in that department. And SDK is low to match Robbie. And Daffo gets rid of Robbie. So Daffo coming to the forefront here to help Loud get over this final hurdle, finish off BDS, move on to the live portion of this event. Lasmo binds a huge kill onto Perez, shuts down the top fragger, keeps himself alive, although just by a small margin, and keeps this round interesting for a little longer.
Deimos hugely impactful in this round, and still 2 death marks available for Daffo. Only the Warden available to scan, and so Loud with 3 drains left may want to get a little bit more information.
I mean, honestly, I don't mind just kind of trying to find out where Lasmo is. You know he's very low.
And the one shot's going to take him down.
And he's getting hunted down by STK. Is Lasmo going to be ready for this? Does make a little bit of contact, and smart here from STK. Expected the flank, expected the help. Wonderful game sense, and it pays dividends, not just for him, but for his team. And Loud are going to hope that over in the main stage, that crowd will get right behind them and make a whole heap of noise to make this organization proud. Welcome to Siege. Welcome to the main stage. It's time to get loud.
7-3 victory in the end. A great performance from a team that maybe are a little bit of a dark horse at this event. I'm sure a well-respected roster considering some of their recent performances, but one that might do quite a bit of damage at this event if given the opportunity.
Well, where to here for BDS? They will play again tomorrow, that's for sure. BDS are not out, but they're going to be low on bullets, 5 remaining. They do still have an extended magazine they will have to use tomorrow, of course. Anyone who does still have one will definitely use it tomorrow, but by no means is this, you know, the worst case scenario for BDS. You got to remember, if you are low on bullets, you get to pick your opposition tomorrow. So they will be able to pick the team that they feel most confident in being able to take down, match their bullets, plus an extended mag. Basically, if BDS win tomorrow, it's still very likely they can make top 8.
Yeah, totally not devastating for BDS. They took on a very strong team. They showed good resilience on attack. BDS got 2 rounds on Skyscraper. That's great. Unfortunately, their defense couldn't hold up, but they were taking on the best attacking team at the tournament. So if there's any time to have it tested, go back to the VOD, look back and improve for tomorrow. This was the match. This was the opposition.
Yeah, we saw Robbie there on your screens. He started 8-2, finished, I think, 8-8. He'll be very disappointed that he couldn't quite keep that good time, that good feeling going, because coming into this match, that was sort of like one of the highlighted players was, can Robbie be Robbie that we know, that we've seen, an absolute superstar back in Montreal, but unfortunately couldn't quite match it the entire time. And shout out Perez and Daffo, because coming into this game, they were the 2 highest rated players for Loud, and they continue to be that in this too. So going into main stage, they're 2 players to watch, and Loud themselves as a team are certainly to watch. They've got a lot of respect now from a lot of people, and proving that that SI run as Raza Company was by no means a fluke. We got one more game after the break. Don't go too far.